Service level agreement for cloud computing. A service level agreement in cloud computing is a format contract between a cloud service provider and a consumer that defines the expected level of service. It outlines key performance metrics such as uptime, availability, response time, and support standards. For example, many cloud providers guarantee 99.9% uptime, meaning the service should only experience minimal downtime. SLAs also define responsibilities, including what the provider will deliver and what the consumer must manage. In addition, they include remedies such as service credits or compensation if the provider fails to meet agreed performance levels. Overall, an SLA ensures transparency and accountability, giving customers confidence in the reliability of cloud services. Why SLA is not a one-way solution. SLA is not a one-way solution because it involves obligations from both the service provider and the customer. While the provider must also ensure performance, availability, and security, the customer also has responsibilities such as proper usage, configuration, and compliance with policies. For instance, if a customer misconfigures their cloud environment and causes downtime, the provider may not be held accountable. This shared responsibility model means that both parties must actively contribute to achieving the agreed service levels. Therefore, an SLA is a mutual agreement rather than something imposed solely by the provider. Steps to evaluate cloud service agreements. Evaluating a cloud service agreement requires a careful and structured approach to ensure it meets the needs for an organization. The first step is to clearly identify business requirements, including expectations for performance, availability, and security. Once these needs are defined, the next step is to review the service metrics outlined in the SLA, such as uptime guarantees, response times, and system performance. It is also important to assess the provider's security measures and compliance with relevant laws and industry standards to ensure data protection. In addition, organizations should examine the support services offered, including how quickly issues are addressed and what level of assistance is available. Another critical step is understanding the penalties or remedies in place if the provider fails to meet agreed service levels. Finally, comparing SLAs from different providers can help organizations choose the most suitable option that aligns with their goals and minimizes potential risks. SLA substances. SLA substances refer to the essential components that form the foundation of a service level agreement in cloud computing. These components define what services are being provided and how they will be delivered. One key element is the service scope, which clearly outlines the specific services included in the agreement. Performance metrics are another important aspect, as they specify measurable standards such as uptime, latency, and system responsiveness. Security measures are also a critical part of the SLA, ensuring that data is protected through appropriate controls and policies. In addition, the agreement defines the roles and responsibilities of both provider and the customer, helping to avoid confusion and ensure accountability. Monitoring and reporting mechanisms are included to track performances and ensure transparency. Lastly, SLA outlines penalties and compensation in cases where the provider fails to meet agreed standards, reinforcing the importance of reliability and service quality. SLA challenges. Service level agreements in cloud computing present several challenges that organizations must be aware of. One of the main challenges is the complexity of SLAs, as they often contain technical language and detailed clauses that can be difficult to fully understand. Another issue is the presence of hidden limitations or exclusions, where certain failures may not be covered under the agreement. Monitoring performance can also be challenging, as customers may not always have the tools or access needed to verify whether the provider is meeting the agreed metrics. Additionally, the lack of standardization across different cloud providers makes it difficult to compare SLAs directly, which can complicate decision making. There is also the challenge of understanding the shared responsibility model, where customers may incorrectly assume that the provider is responsible for all aspects of the service. These challenges highlight the importance of carefully reviewing and fully understanding an SLA before entering into an agreement.